welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we are again. And when I say we, I say me right now, because that's who's talking. As you know, I'm Anthony Cordova, one of the co-hosts of I'm Right, I'm Right. And this is the time when we, make sure everything is working properly and that our guest is here okay. So, Nikesha, I see you, and can you hear me okay? Wonderful. Can you say something?
Mic check, 1 2 1 2.
We can tell who is in the business. Okay, yes, it's working just great. Thank you so much for that mic check. Okay, all is good, and Nikesha, your mic is hot during this portion, just to let you know. So, yes, the audience can hear you right now, but they can't see you. So we're okay. All right, audience. As you know, if you're watching this in replay, you can fast forward right past this spot and get right in the show, so you don't have to wait around. Now, something new for this season is we have a call-in number. So that number is 470-377-1731. That's 470-377-1731. Now, you can call that number and leave a voice message, and it could be about any show that we do. So if you are listening or watching us in replay, you can chime in on any topic. So just make sure you state your name and wait for the beep, and you'll hear Jill and I, and leave your voice message, and we may play it on the air. Now, you may be wondering, can you call that number during a live show? Yes, you can call that number. You can call that number during a live show, but you will not come on live. But we will see your voicemail, and if it's something that pertains to the show and it's nice and clean, I just might play it. So that's something you know. So remember, now we only use YouTube for one of our platforms. We used to be on that other Facebook, but we are no longer there. And not because they kicked us off, because we chose not to use Facebook anymore. Now, also remember, you can go to Jill's website anytime you want, and you all know that website. Isn't it JillCoxCordova.com? I believe that's what it is. And click the podcaster tab, and you can watch any of the shows that you would like. And go to Jill's website, because you'll find things out about her that maybe you did not know. Now, we have approximately 1 minute to the beginning of the show. And I also want to say, we love it when our audience is live, because audience, you make the show better. Like, you're just more engaging. So we love it when you make your comments and questions, and it moves the show along much faster and much better, in my opinion. So I surely can't take the credit for this show being good or not. All right, we only have about 20 seconds to go, and we're going to be live. So please stand by. Come on, Jill, get with it. There we go. Bobbleheads.
That we are.
Greetings, everyone. This is I'm Right.
I'm right.
And I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
And it's Wednesday, and we're back. And we're happy to be here.
It is Wednesday, isn't it? Yes, I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah?
Yes.
You're thrilled
Especially,
to be here?
yes, after a long day at work.
Yeah, that'll do it, right?
Yes. That will. So what's going on,
Well, tonight
my
we
love?
have one of my very favorite authors here with us tonight. So I'm very excited to talk to her a little bit later in the show.
Okay. Are we going to say who that is?
Well,
or is it a secret? I'm
Well,
sure it's not a secret.
It's not a secret. Her name is Nikesha Elise Williams, and if you know me personally, you have definitely heard me talk about how wonderful her work is. And so her newest book is just like, man, she just upped the ante. Like it's amazing.
Yes.
I'm so excited to talk to her about this book.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But before we get to that, we want to remind people that we have a phone number to call in on.
Yes, we do.
That phone number is 470-377-1731. And let me rephrase. Call in on between shows.
No, and you can call in during the show if you wish. As I tell you, I am the controller of the number. Okay?
Yes, but I vet things.
So anyway, you can call in. Just act like you're calling me. Okay?
I don't know.
Call me. Call me at that number. All right. 470-377-1731. Call that number. So, like, if I say something and you're like, what the hell is wrong with Tony? You can dial that number and call in. You know, like if you don't want to leave a comment or something like that, you could just call.
That's true.
And I'll see.
You could also call in and say Team Jill all the way.
I'll see it on
all the many ways that you think.
I'll see it on my other monitor here. And if I deem it, not Jill, if I deem it to be worthy of the show, I will play it. But what I think is worthy may be completely different than what Jill
yes,
is
we all know
of
that
being
Tony has
on the
gone
show.
rogue on this show several times.
So just to let you know.
Much to my dismay. But one thing that you can call in and answer is, and I'm going to ask this question every show until someone gets it right. But so it's either Tony or it's me, and one of us every single show since we've been doing a video podcast removes one item of clothing.
Yes. So there is something.
Yes.
On us that we are not wearing that people
the same
wear
type of clothing
every
single show.
Yeah, take it off.
Yeah, take it off.
Take it
off. So which one of us do you think it is?
Yeah.
And which item of clothing do you think comes off before every episode of I'm Right?
Maybe I should stand up and give them a surprise.
No. It's not that type of show. For sure.
They
And
don't
not that
know what
type
you're
of
gonna
show.
See.
I do.
Maybe I do.
We're going to keep it moving.
Okay.
We're going to keep it moving.
Let's do that.
So tonight, in honor of our guest book, we are talking about mother-daughter relationships. And it's part of a segment that we call
Stand by your stance.
I always want to say stand by your stance.
Again?
Yeah. Always. I've been preventing myself from saying that probably the last several shows, but I always want to repeat it.
Oh.
Stand by your stance.
Stand by your...
I was going to get it wrong.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, we're talking about mother-daughter relationships and Nikesha's book. But for this segment, I thought it would be interesting if we talk about, do you think, because you're always saying mothers and daughters, you're always saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mothers and daughters. Yeah, well, so
So my question
Look,
is, do you think that's one of the most complex type of relationships you could have?
I think so. More so than, fathers and sons and mothers and sons and fathers and daughters. The mother and daughter relationship is so dynamic and it plays out in so many different ways for so many different reasons that are complex. So it makes it a completely different thing. And the love between mothers and daughters is like no other. Whether the mother and daughter have a good relationship or a bad relationship, that love is still like no other. So my stance is there's nothing like the relationship between a mother and a daughter.
Well, I can say that. I grew up in a single parent household with my mother. And my mother, to this day, she lives with us now. To this day, my mother would do anything for me. She would.
This is true.
And don't let anybody hurt her baby. She'll come after you. She will,
Right. That's right.
So I actually agree with you. But I have a second type of relationship that would be my number two in terms of complexity.
Okay.
And that's your relationship in the workplace with your colleagues and your bosses.
That's not even a close second.
For me, it is. You've had a different type of workplace though than I have.
No.
Well, our guest knows what I'm talking about because she's a former producer, just like I was. In fact, she's a 2-time Emmy-winning producer.
Yes.
Let me just put her up because I'm excited
let's
to talk
see
to
her.
her.
There
Ladies
she
and
is.
gentlemen, we present to you Nikesha Elise Williams. Welcome, Nikesha.
She's famous, so she gets applause.
Yes. We are very excited to have you here. So Nikesha has a book that I recommend everyone. I don't always recommend books on this show.
But this book.
Is a
Yes.
must read. And the book is The Seven Daughters of Dupree.
Yay!
And I have actually written a review about it. And this is what I said about it. Let me tell you.
Yes, why don't you tell us?
My verdict about the book, there's actually more to my review, but the verdict was epic, expansive, and excellent. This page-turning novel will have readers rooting for all the Dupree women, right to the gasp-worthy, unforgettable end. And let me tell you, you will want to keep reading to the end for sure.
All right.
So, Nikesha, I think we should tell everyone that when we say 7 daughters, we're not talking about sisters. We are talking about
Oh, wait.
generations of
Wait,
women.
we did not hear you.
There you go, your mic.
There we go. Now we're
Yes.
hearing you. We got you.
Okay. Yeah, no, we are not talking about sisters. We are talking about 7 generations in one family, the daughters from this one ancestral line.
Okay, so I know from being in the writing industry, to have one main character is challenging. You have 7.
Multiple points of view. Wow. I mean, like this stuff going like nonstop everywhere.
Yes, yes,
all around.
So tell me how we got from. Was that always the plan, or tell me how we got from 1 to 7?
It was not the plan. The plan was one main character. It was supposed to just be Tatiana's story, the 14-year-old protagonist that you meet in chapter 1. When I first conceived of this novel, I was just with the story of her not knowing who her father was. And I thought that could sustain a whole novel. I was wrong. And so as I started writing her story, I liked her. I liked her point of view, but she wasn't enough. And I got bored with her because she was only doing but so much because she's 14.
14. That's what I was going to ask you. How
Right.
much
So
does a
like I
14-year-old do?
exactly not much. She goes to school, she runs track, she helps out with her mama in salon, and she writes angsty teenage girl poetry in her journal because she can't tell anybody about her feelings. And so I was like, okay, girl, let's see what your mama doing and maybe how she got with your daddy because you're not doing enough for me. And so then we went from one to two. But the grandmother, Gladys, was always in the novel from the very first page, always being messy and surly and sardonic from the very first page. So there were three daughters in the first draft, but only two stories that I was telling, Tatiana and Nadia. And when I finally got to accept that this was going to be an expanded storyline that was going to be generational, going back to enslavement, that's where the seven came in. Because I was like, well, if I'm going to go all the way back to 1860, seven is the number of completion. So we'll have seven daughters, seven generations, seven women, seven stories. And so that's where how we went from one to two to three to seven.
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
So you mentioned how expansive this is. We're talking from the mid 1800s to contemporary times. How did you keep all of that straight?
I wrote them straight, technically. So, like, even in my very first draft, I wrote Tatiana's story first, in whole, up to the same stopping point where you have in the finished version of the novel that everybody is reading. Like the end of part one was my natural stopping point with Tatiana's story in the first draft. And then I wrote Nadia's story incomplete. And then I gave them resolution at the end, which is still part three in the finished version. When I expanded the story, I just kind of kept on that same trajectory of writing each character backwards. So then I wrote Gladys's portion in full, and then on and so forth down the line, Ruby, Juby, Emma, and then the enslaved ancestor. And then after all of their sections were written, I opened a brand new document, opened all the other documents, and then put them together chapter for chapter, story for story, to find the parallels between them until I was at the end.
So you
That's
literally braided
impressive.
all of their
Yes,
stories together. So
yes,
speaking of braiding, hair is like a character in this, its own character in this story. It tells history. It's a setting. You know, you mentioned the salon, all of that about that. Tell us about how that came into this narrative.
it was always there from the beginning. When I first started the novel, I had a different title, and the title was related to hair, and it really informed the story. It informed the storyline of the book in the fact that Nadia was always going to be a beautician and passing down those hair ways and ways of hair care and beauty culture and beauty practice to her daughter in some respect. And then when I got the expanded storyline and knew I was doing a historical fiction novel, my question was how would the enslaved ancestor, knowing what I knew was going to happen to her, from the very first line of the novel, when that line came to me, it informed everything. And so my question was then, well, how would she feel about her great great whatever granddaughter being a beautician in the 1990 now? And so putting the emphasis on hair and letting that be a metaphor for the kinds of history that we have lived and the kind of history that lives on our head, it just really worked out.
Excellent.
You bring up ancestors and all of that, and it seemed to me like I I read the book isn't short, but I read the book. I read the book. I mean, it's not super long either, but I read the book quickly for the amount of pages that it was. But it seemed like, I don't know, like there was another force there, maybe helping, like
Yeah,
part of that kind of took over.
yeah. Writing this book was definitely a spiritual experience. Um, I can't replicate it. There was an urgency to the writing. And even though it took months, it took months, uh, especially once I was expanding it and then putting it back together. That was about 5 months it took me to get everything down and together and kind of polished to go on submission. But there was still an urgency to it every time that I approached the page, every morning that I wrote. And whatever spirit that was in me, my editor says that it jumped in her when she read it, because she was like, when the novel was on submission to her, it was like 500 pages, and she read it in like 2 days.
Wow.
And people who have now had the finished copy, it is not 500 pages,
No,
and they're
it's not.
reading it in about 2 days, and I'm just like, okay. And so I guess I didn't realize I was doing it, but my editor says like it's a mystery. And so you're turning the pages as quickly as you can to get to the ending to find out, I guess, the who done it when you already know what's going to happen, but you're trying to see it happen on the page because now you're so invested in the women's lives and the outcome. And so I didn't know that's what I was doing, but I'm glad that I did and that it works and that people are inhaling the book as they are, and it's still lingering with them after they finish and put it down.
Oh, yes. Now, do you think during those portions where it seemed to be spiritual, that it's just coming and it's flowing through you? Uh,
Hmm.
so, do you see that as you writing or having an assistance from the other side helping you with this process?
I think it's a bit of both. Um, these particular characters talked to me and I could hear them. And if there was anything that I got wrong, I was immediately told to go fix it right now. Like, don't wait, don't finish folding the laundry. Go fix
Mm-hmm.
that. That's not how you say that. That's not how I would say that. That's not what I would do. Go fix it.
Very good.
But as much as I heard them and they were with me, kind of embodied in a way,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm still the conduit, so it's still coming out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a conversation between me and the character. Um, Me asking, "Who are you? What is your name? What happened to you? What are your issues?" And
Right.
then me getting just the grain of it, whether it was something that I wanted to play with on the page or not. And most of it was things that I wanted to play with on the page. And then them being gracious enough to allow me to bend their story around what I wanted to address as the author.
Well, excellent, excellent. Well, here's one more question. So now the book is done. The book is finished.
Uh-huh.
It's out.
Destined,
It's
It's out.
released.
It's destined to
You
be a
can buy
bestseller. Okay.
Amen.
Now, what does Gladys say to you?
Gladys doesn't talk to me anymore, and I'm so glad. She does not talk to me anymore. Gladys, Ruby, Juby, Emma, Evangeline, Tatiana, Nadia, and the enslaved ancestors, they are all minding their own business
They're
somewhere else.
quiet now.
They are quiet. They are not
Okay.
the characters who are with me at this very moment. Other
Okay.
people have taken up residence.
Okay. The other people. Or are we
Yes,
talking?
there's another project that I'm working on. So other people have taken up
Oh,
residence
see,
in my
all
mind.
right. I like that. I like that. Excellent. That's
That
pretty cool.
that is excellent. So, Nikesha, I don't know if you remember this, but the three of us have actually met each other in person. You were in Atlanta for a Black Writers Weekend, as were we, and your mother was with you. We met your mother too because before
That
you
wasn't my
started.
mom, that was my godmother.
Oh, that was your godmother. Okay, well then
Yeah.
that's another type of mother.
Yeah.
So, and I know that you are a mother. So,
Yeah.
I'm wondering, as you wrote the Seven Daughters of Dupree, if you had your family in mind, in your relationships in mind? And it's a two-part question. I know your daughter's only 4.5, but is this a book that you want to present to her when when she's old enough to read it? And if so, what would you tell her?
Oh God. Um, my mother inspired the book just in the way that she has been very dogged in her search to uncover our ancestry of my family. And watching her over the years sit at the feet of my aunt, of her aunt, my great aunt, learning, looking through papers, making photocopies, going to the archives in different states and cities and things like that to try to put together a snapshot of who our family is and where we come from. And the struggles and the trials and the challenges that she's faced in that has very much informed how I wanted to tell this historical story and this lineage of this family and the structure of the book that was absolutely informed by my own mother's journey with genealogy. As far as my own motherhood, one, the book is dedicated to my lineage that I can trace through my matrilineal lineage. And so it starts being dedicated to my two children, my son and my daughter. I started this novel a week before I gave birth to my daughter and
Wow.
wrote it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't recommend that type of
You gave
pushing,
birth to
but
two
if
babies.
what right, absolutely
Wow.
right. And so she has been with me since the inception of this novel, and her birth informs some of the storylines in the book. So yeah.
Wow.
That's
I
excellent.
did not know that. One thing that we do in this show is we make it interactive. And at the beginning, before the show starts, I always do sort of a roll call. So here are people who are with us tonight. Connie and Rennie are here. Hi, Connie and
Hey
Rennie.
guys, how y'all doing?
And then Boyster says,
Hey,
keyboard check, keyboard check.
glad
Glad
you're
you're here.
glad you're back, Boyster.
Yes,
Good to see
yes.
you.
And Boyster also said it would be a ratings booster. I think Boyster was talking about when you were saying you were going to stand up or something.
I still might. I
I,
still.
oh my
Let's
goodness.
see.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, another thing about you, Nikesha, is that you are a podcast host as well. But
Mhm.
again, related to the literary arts. It's called Black and Published. What made you start that podcast?
Again, something not something that I actually wanted to do. That was also a spiritual obedience.
Hmm.
That could be a book for you too. Spiritual obedience.
Hmm.
But the idea was to give Black, Indigenous, and other people of color a place to come and talk about their work. Because I found as an indie author, I was always scratching at the door of attention,
Okay.
trying to get traditional media to notice my work, to see value in it, even though it was indie, to validate it even in that regard. Because when I started self publishing, there was more of a stigma attached to it than there is
Mm-hmm.
now.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to create a platform for authors like me, indie and traditional, because there are not enough places that highlight authors anymore, to have a place to come and talk about their work. And so that's really how Black and Published started. And so the very first season was a mix of indie and traditional authors. As I've gone on, it's become more traditionally published than indie, but I still try to get a few indie authors in there because I do think that there are indie authors who are doing very well for themselves. They are writing great stories. They are building their audiences and building their own platforms outside of mainstream and traditional publishing. And there is success there and they should be acknowledged. And so I try to I try to keep that balance. It's not always there, but I try.
Very good.
Very good. And you know, like I mentioned in the introduction to you, you're a two-time Emmy award winning TV news producer. So you know how to interview people, because I listen to your show, so I know you know. I can vouch for you. You know how to interview people. But you talked about traditionally getting published, and my introduction to your work was through a university press that ended up being on a best books of the year nonfiction. It was called Mardi Gras Indians. And then talk about going traditional. You are with one of the biggest publishers in the world. So how does that feel?
It's been a dream. Mardi Gras Indians was not a book that I ever saw coming. It wasn't something that I had planned. It came to me and I had to meet the moment. And I'm glad that I did. And it stretched me in a way that I think prepared me to write Seven Daughters, because I was already deep in doing archival research and doing all this historical research to tell the story of the Black masking Indians of New Orleans. So then to like play in historical fiction was like playtime for me, because I was making it up to a degree. But the journey from being an indie author to then starting my own imprint and being an indie publisher and helping other people publish their novels and books, to writing at a university press level, to now writing under a major publisher, Big Five contract that people dream about. It wasn't what I thought was going to be my journey. You know, everybody thinks they're going to have a clean path of ascension, but I'm so grateful for the way that my journey has developed, and that it's given me a greater perspective of the industry. It's given me a greater love for writing. And as I'm navigating this new territory, in my mind, I'm like, I need to get back to just focusing on the work and on the writing and not what could come or what may happen, because that's the joy for me, is the creation of the thing, even if I have doubts about what it is that I'm creating sometimes.
Just listen, spiritual obedience. That's all you have to listen to.
Just listen. That's all you gotta do is just listen.
But I get it. I get it. All right. So we have a second segment that we call
I'm trying to help you.
And this is the segment in which we either leave with words of wisdom or final say, or anything that you want to say at this point. So what would that be for you, Nikesha?
I would say that in these times, these trying times, if all you did was get up, it's enough.
Ooh. Both of our responses the same.
Wow, that's deep.
Just get up, because it's a struggle. It's a struggle to get. Just get up.
It is.
Just get up.
Oh, man. See, now you're going to have to come back, Nikesha, because we want to just talk about that statement.
Just get up. Can't give up. Now, that says so much. Can't
it does.
Give up now.
It really does.
It
really does.
Keep going. Oh, I like that.
I love that.
Get up.
I love that. Seriously, I would build a whole episode around that one statement with you. Okay, so we have other comments. This is from Diane. Hey, Diane.
Hey, hi, Diane.
She says, hi, Jill, Tony. Oh, that should be hi to Nikesha, too.
Hi, Diane.
And Diane, I will say, she's a writer, too, so she gets what you're all about, and she's an avid reader, too. Speaking of avid reading, everybody... You must. Well, that's her website. It's called The Seven Daughters of Dupree. It is out now. You can get it everywhere. That is her website, newrights.com. And, I always send people to bookshop.org, but the book is available wherever you buy your
Books are
books.
sold.
Yep.
You get the book.
But really, you know, like I said at the beginning of this episode, I don't often recommend books on this show, but this one is a must read.
Yeah.
Seriously. What is, like, I'm always curious when an author has a book baby out in the world. What is when, you know, like, you know, readers are going to, because we're all individuals, we're going to respond to it in different ways. But what is one emotion that you hope, or what is one not takeaway, but feeling that you hope that they have?
There are a couple. The first one might be superficial, but I want them to be entertained. Like I want them to feel like it's a good story well told.
Check.
Like that's the biggest thing.
You succeeded at that. Check.
like you finished the book and you feel like it was worth your $30 and it was worth however long it took you to read it. Good story well told. And then the other is that I want them to feel held by the women, because that's what they did for me. And I think that if you feel like they're taking you by the hand and walking you through their journey and telling you about their lives, and they're holding you and they're keeping you in whatever it is that you're going through, I did my job.
Oh, well, you definitely did your job. My mother probably doesn't realize this because I didn't say why I did this, but after I read your book, I went and hugged my mother.
I love that.
I did.
I love that. I some people have been saying, like, you know, oh, when I finish this book, I have to go call my mom.
It's true. It's very true. So this, everybody, is a must read. For real, for real. So thank you, Nikesha, for being with us tonight.
Thank you so much.
And I'm serious. I will contact you about that statement you made and see if we can build an episode
But you know, I still think
around it.
I still think Gladys is kind of hanging out.
Oh, you think Gladys is still around?
Yeah, Gladys is still around.
Gladys is gone.
And Nikesha is like, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Gladys is gone.
All right. She's going to dream about Gladys tonight. You see, Gladys is gone. Gladys is gone. Nah, she going to be dreaming about Gladys tonight. Oh, yes. Gladys is gone.
Oh, we do have one more comment, and then I promise, Nikesha, we'll let you go. This is from Diane. She says, as a writer, I too get consumed with worries beyond the piece I'm working on. Thanks for reminding me to stay focused. And
we don't have any.
Enjoy writing is the rest of what it says.
Cool.
Yep. So thank you, Nikesha, for reminding us of that. Those of us in the audience who are writers ourselves.
It's a reminder for me too.
All right.
All right.
It's about time to start wrapping this up.
To go. Well, thanks again, Nikesha. I will contact you after the show ends and send you the links for the replay. Thank you for this. This is wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Right.
Absolutely.
There we go. Oh, that was fabulous.
It was. I want to say one more time, the book that we've been talking about is The 7 Daughters of Dupree. And you can get it wherever books are sold.
That's right.
But
everywhere. You can get it everywhere.
Yes.
If you pass by Roscoe with his trunk open, Roscoe will send you a copy. No, it's going to be the real copy. And it's going to be a real copy. Roscoe will send it to you out of the trunk of his car.
Boy.
He will. He'll have it. All right, everyone, remember to watch I'm Right, every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Also, you can check the show out at Jill's website, which is Jill Cox Cordova, and click the podcaster tab. Yes. And that's us again. Oh, look. And remember to call in, leave a voicemail. That number is 470-377-1731.
And remember,
Yeah.
tell us which one you
Yeah.
think, is it Tony or is it me who takes off one item of clothing before every show? And if so, whoever you guess, what is that item of clothing?
Yes. And there's a big prize that doesn't exist that you will win.
Which means no prize. Just bragging rights. Boyster has one more thing to Nikesha. Next book, Letters to Gladys.
Ooh,
Maybe.
Gladys might tell her, hey, this is what you're going to write. Write me a letter.
All right,
Yes.
time to go.
Okay, it is time to go. Love you guys. And we will see you